Let me tell you about the moment a couple from outside of Columbus, Ohio stood in the middle of their brand new home and couldn't speak. Not because of the view, not because of the size, because they had just finished telling every single person in their lives, their parents, their coworkers, their realtor, that they could not afford to build their dream home. That $280,000 wasn't enough. That they have to wait. And then they found a floor plan. A 3-bedroom, single-story, open floor plan that their builder priced out at $224,000 all in. They moved in 8 months later. And the first thing their neighbors said when she walked through the front door? Wait, how big is this place? That is the question this entire video is built around. Because the home that stops people cold, the one they assume cost twice the price, is not always the biggest one on the street. Sometimes it is the most intelligently designed one. And today, I am going to show you the exact floor plan that pulled off that trick, the specific design features that engineer the feeling of double the space, and every honest number behind it. Stay with me through to the finish, because the section where I break down the 7 design features that create that twice the size feeling is the most practical content I have ever put on this channel. If you leave before we get there, you will miss the part that actually changes how you build. Before we get into it, if you're planning to build a home, dreaming about building one, or just done with people telling you that small and beautiful cannot exist in the same sentence, I need you to do something right now. Hit that subscribe button, because every single week I am dropping real design breakdowns, real build numbers, and real floor plan decisions that the housing industry genuinely hopes you never find. Already subscribed? Good. Now hit that like button so this reaches the people who need it most. And tap that notification bell, because you do not want to be the person who misses what is coming next week. I don't do fluff. I don't gatekeep. I give you the real information that most home builders never get until they're already over budget and out of options. Now, let's get into it. Before we go any further, let's make sure we're looking at the same thing, because the phrase small house means something very specific in this video, and I want you to release whatever image just came into your mind. We're not talking about a tiny home. We're not talking about a compressed floor plan that forces your family to live on top of each other. We're talking about a real, full-function, 3-bedroom American home that happens to be designed with extraordinary intentionality. The plan we are examining today sits between 1,400 and 1,600 square feet. That is the sweet spot for a small 3-bedroom home build cost in 2026. And here is what the data tells us about where American homebuyers are right now. In 2025, half of all house plans sold in the United States range from 1,000 to 1,999 square feet, up from 48% the year before. Meanwhile, the share of plans between 2,000 and 2,999 square feet actually declined. That is not coincidence. That is a generation of homeowners doing the math on what bigger costs them every single month in mortgage payments, utilities, maintenance, property taxes, and deciding to invest that money somewhere else. The concept driving this shift is called right-sizing, and it is less about square footage and more about living well within your space. Thoughtful layouts, smart storage, and seamless indoor-outdoor connections make every single square foot count. That philosophy is the exact DNA of the plan we're breaking down today. This is not a compromise. This is a decision. Let's go. Let me give you the honest numbers first. The plan, 1,450 square feet, 3 bedrooms, 2 full bathrooms, a 2-car garage, 1 story, a split bedroom layout, and a rear covered porch that extends your living space outdoors without adding a dollar to the build cost. Now here is what makes this specific plan extraordinary, and it has nothing to do with the raw numbers. The heart of the home is an open-concept living space where the kitchen, dining area, and great room flow together as one continuous zone. No walls interrupting the middle of the home. No hard transitions. No dark, disconnected rooms eating up square footage without contributing to how the home feels. When you walk through the front door, your eye travels all the way to the rear wall of glass. And that single uninterrupted sight line makes this home feel 30 to 40% larger than it actually is. That is not a design trick. That is architecture doing exactly what architecture is supposed to do. The split-bedroom design places the primary suite on one wing, while the secondary bedrooms occupy the opposite side, with shared living spaces in between. This intentional separation minimizes sound transfer and makes the primary suite feel more like a quiet retreat than just another room. Your private sanctuary on one end, your kids' rooms, guest room, or home office on the other. Wide open, light-filled living in the center. That is not a small house. That is a brilliantly organized home. If what I just described is already shifting how you think about what a small, open floor plan can do, good. That means you're paying attention. But before we get to the 7 specific features that engineer the feeling of space, the part this entire video is built around, hit that subscribe button right now. I put out real, research home design content every single week, and the next section is where this video earns its title. Don't miss it. This is the section. This is why you stayed. There are 7 specific design decisions built into this plan that create the feeling of a home that is twice its actual size. None of them are accidental. Every one is intentional, repeatable, and achievable on a budget when you plan for them before construction begins. I'm also going to tell you which ones most first-time builders skip and exactly what that oversight cost them. Feature number 1, the open concept core. Open concept living dining kitchen layouts visually expand the core living space, allow for easier furniture flow, and invite daylight across zones. This plan eliminates every interior wall between the kitchen, dining, and great room. The result is one connected, breathing space that reads as enormous, even when the total square footage tells a different story. When people search for a small home build cost 2026 and land on a list of floor plans, the ones that consistently stop them are the open floor plan designs. This is why. Feature number 2, vaulted ceilings in the great room. In the great room, a vaulted ceiling draws the eye up and creates an airy feeling that transforms how the entire space reads. When your eye travels upward as well as across a room, the entire perception of the space expands. Adding a vault during the framing phase adds a few $1,000s to the build. The visual return is worth 10 times that, and it photographs like a home that costs 3 times as much. Feature number 3, strategic window placement. Today's best 3-bedroom designs emphasize energy efficiency with strategic window placement that maximizes natural light throughout the home. This plan uses large rear-facing windows aligned directly with the covered porch. Natural light floods the great room. The outdoors becomes a visual extension of the interior. The home stops having visible edges, and that is the single most powerful spatial illusion available to a builder on a budget. Feature number 4, the covered rear porch as a bonus room. As homeowners continue to favor smaller, smarter footprints, generous covered porches work like an outdoor bonus room, creating distinct zones for relaxing, dining, and entertaining without adding to the home's main square footage. This plan's rear porch is deep enough to function as a full outdoor living room. 200 additional square feet of livable space at a fraction of what an interior room of the same size would cost to build. That is one of the smartest dollar-for-dollar decisions in this entire layout. Feature number 5, built-in storage eliminating clutter. Practical amenities like mudrooms, laundry rooms adjacent to bedrooms, and built-in storage solutions help manage daily family life and keep the home feeling open rather than compressed. Clutter is the number 1 enemy of a small home feeling spacious. When everything has a designated, built-in place, the home stops fighting you. It starts working with you. Most builders who skip this feature spend the first 2 years of homeownership adding it back, at renovation prices instead of build prices. Feature number 6, the flex room. Flexible spaces that can serve as home offices, playrooms, or hobby areas have become essential features in 2026, adapting naturally to changing lifestyle needs. This plan designates one of the secondary bedrooms with a slightly larger footprint and a window seat nook, making it equally functional as a guest room, a creative studio, or a full home office. In a world where remote work is still a daily reality for millions of Americans, this is not a bonus feature. This is a requirement that people specifically search for when they look up 3-bedroom open floor plan layouts. Feature number 7, continuous flooring and color flow. Choosing consistent paint colors or continuous flooring creates seamless flow throughout the home. When there are no jarring material transitions, no carpet after hardwood, no competing color stories from room to room, the entire home reads as one connected, expansive space. It is one of the cheapest decisions on this list and one of the most powerful. Lock it in during the planning phase, and it costs you almost nothing extra. 7 features, every single one working together. That is the engineering behind why this home feels twice its size. I want to pause here for a moment, because I think the numbers and features are most powerful when you attach them to a real human experience. Think about a family, 2 working parents, 1 child, another on the way, sitting at a kitchen table in a rented apartment, scrolling through floor plans at 11 o'clock at night. They've been told by 3 separate mortgage advisors that building the home they actually want is out of reach at their budget. They keep landing on 2,200 square foot plans with price tags in the high dollar 300,000s and walking away. Then they find a 1,450 square foot, single-story split-bedroom plan with an open floor plan layout, a vaulted great room, and a rear-covered porch. The builder quotes them $218,000 to construct. They nearly close the tab because they assume that number means cutting corners everywhere. They don't close the tab. They call the builder back. They ask the right questions. They lock in their finishes before ground is broken. Kitchen island, 2-tone cabinets, vaulted great room, continuous hardwood through the main living zone. 8 months later, they move in. Their parents visit for the first time. Their mom walks through the front door, stops in the middle of the great room, looks left at the kitchen, looks right at the living space, looks through the rear windows at the covered porch, and says the exact same thing every single person says. How big is this place? That is not luck. That is what intentional design does to a home. And those 7 features we just covered, they're the reason that question gets asked every single time. What does it actually cost to build in 2026? Let's talk real numbers. Honestly, the average cost of building a home in 2026 ranges between $150 and $300 per square foot, with the median price sitting around $166 per square foot. For a home in the 1,400 to 1,600 square foot range, that puts your realistic small home build cost between $210,000 and $290,000 in most American markets, depending on your region, your finishes, and your contractor. That does not include land. And I will say more about that shortly, because forgetting to separate land from build cost in your planning is one of the most common and expensive mistakes I see. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. That range is too wide to be useful. And you are right. Here is what actually determines where you land in that range: your finished decisions. The structure of this home, the open floor plan, the split bedroom layout, the single story, is one of the most cost-efficient configurations a builder can execute. In more expensive real estate locations, or for custom homes, costs can climb significantly, but the simplicity of a single-story rectangular or L-shaped footprint keeps labor hours and structural complexity low. The strategy in this plan is focused investment. Pour your finished budget into the kitchen and the primary bathroom. Those 2 rooms are where guests form their entire impression of the home. For every other space, clean subway tile, simple fixtures, neutral walls. It looks curated. It costs a fraction. Compare those numbers to where the broader market sits. The national average cost of purchasing an existing single-family home is around $422,000. You are potentially saving $130,000 to $200,000 for a home that, because of intelligent design, will feel just as generous and comfortable to live in. And then consider the downstream savings: lower property taxes, lower homeowners insurance, lower utility costs, lower maintenance bills. Over a 30-year mortgage, the cumulative financial difference between a smart small home and an oversized one can easily exceed $500,000. That is not a small number. That is a retirement, a child's education, a future. One of the most compelling things about this plan is not just how well it is designed, it is how perfectly it aligns with where American residential architecture is heading right now. The modern farmhouse remains the reigning favorite style in American home design, making up 33% of all house plan sales in 2025. And in 2026, it is evolving toward warmer, more grounded tones with hints of nostalgia. The exterior of this plan, vertical siding, stone veneer at the base, black-framed windows, and a wide covered front porch, lands squarely in that aesthetic. This is a home that will not look dated in 15 years. It will look better. Mixed exterior materials create depth and visual interest. Natural stone, vertical siding, and warm wood accents working together to give the home a custom, high-end appearance that feels deliberate and architectural. Nobody driving past this finished home will think budget build. They will think that person knew exactly what they were doing. The open floor plan has grown up in 2026. Homeowners still want flow and connection, but now they're also seeking subtle definition between spaces. Architectural elements like double-sided fireplaces and breakfast nooks help define each zone while keeping light and views moving freely. This plan delivers exactly that balance. Open, connected, defined without being divided. And for search purposes, if you have been Googling open floor plan 3-bedroom 2026 split bedroom house plan or small home build cost, and landing on content that feels vague, this is the specific practical breakdown you were looking for. Let me be completely straight with you here, because this is the 60 seconds of this video that might matter more than anything else. Your contractor is everything. A bad one will cost you more than you ever saved on the build itself. Get a minimum of 3 bids. Make actual phone calls to people who have lived in homes these contractors built. Not a reference list, real conversations. Verify they have direct experience with single-story, open-concept construction. The features that make this plan sing, the vault, the window alignment, the continuous flooring transition, all depend on a builder who understands a vision and has executed it before. Lock in every finish before you break ground. The scenario that silently destroys build budgets is not bad luck, it is time pressure. Construction starts. Framing goes up. 3 weeks in, you realize you have not picked your tile, your cabinetry, or your light fixtures. You go to the showroom under pressure, choose something quickly, and your contractor charges change order fees because your selections do not match what was originally priced. Lock in flooring, cabinetry, tile, fixtures, and appliances before a single wall goes up. That one discipline protects $5,000 to $15,000 in your budget, minimum. And land is a completely separate budget item. The build cost figures in this video do not include land. Factor your land cost in from day one, before you fall in love with a floor plan, before you start designing, before the dream gets ahead of the math. Know your total number, land plus build, and then work toward it with intention. Let me be honest with you, because I always will be on this channel. And I want to go a little deeper here than most videos do, because the right floor plan is not just about square footage. It is about your life stage, your finances, and where you're trying to go. If you're a first-time homebuyer carrying a combined household income somewhere between $75,000 and $110,000, which is exactly where a lot of young American families sit right now, a 1,450 square foot open floor plan build in the $215,000 to $265,000 range puts you in a monthly mortgage payment that does not consume your entire financial life. You can still save. You can still travel. You can still build an emergency fund and invest. And you get to come home every evening to a space that feels intentionally designed, not like a starter home you're trying to escape in 5 years. If you're an empty nester who just spent 20 years in a 4-bedroom, 2,800 square foot home, maintaining rooms nobody sleeps in, heating spaces nobody enters, paying property taxes on square footage that exists only out of habit, this is your liberation plan. A single-story split-bedroom layout means no stairs, no wasted zones, and a primary suite that finally functions as the retreat it was always supposed to be. If you're a young family with 1 or 2 children and a third on the way, this plan's flex room is your answer. It functions as a nursery for the first 2 years. Then it becomes a toddler room. Then it becomes a homework and creative space. Then, when your oldest turns 15 and wants a door that closes, it becomes a proper bedroom. These layouts support multi-generational living arrangements and provide the flexibility to adapt spaces as family needs evolve over time. You're not building for today. You're building a home that grows with you. If you are a remote worker, one of the tens of millions of Americans whose commute is now a 15-second walk down the hall, the split-bedroom plan with a dedicated flex room means your work life and your home life finally have a physical boundary between them. That boundary is more valuable than most people realize until they try to live without one. Successful compact designs start at 900 square feet, but comfort comes down to smart flow and storage. Avoiding long hallways and using multifunctional rooms keeps layouts open and efficient regardless of size. The right plan is not the biggest one. It is the one that fits your actual life and makes room for the life you are building toward. The home building industry wants you to believe that bigger is better. That square footage is the primary measure of a life well-designed. That if you're not spending $400,000 or $500,000, you are settling. It is not true. The plan we walked through today, 1,450 square feet, 3 bedrooms, 1 story, one perfect open floor plan layout with a split bedroom design and a rear covered porch, is being built by real American families right now. In Ohio, in Tennessee, in Texas, in the Midwest, and everywhere in between. Not because they settled, because they chose smarter. Think back to that couple from Columbus. They were told it wasn't possible. They found the right plan, locked in the right finishes, hired the right builder, and moved into the home their neighbors slowed down to look at. For $224,000. There is a real difference between cutting corners and cutting waste. The families who understand that difference are the ones whose guests walk through the front door and ask, every single time, wait, how big is this place? Build with intention. Build smart. And don't let anyone tell you what beautiful is supposed to cost. Before you go, drop the word home in the comments right now and tell me, which one was you? First-time buyer trying to get into the market without drowning in mortgage payments? Empty nester, finally ready to stop maintaining rooms nobody lives in? Young family building for the life you're growing into? Remote worker who just needs a home that actually worked for how you live now? I read every single comment. Every one. And your answer genuinely shapes what I build for you next week. So do not scroll past this. And if this video gave you one thing you did not have before you click play, one number, one design decision, one moment where something clicked, hit that subscribe button right now. Because next week, I am breaking down the 5 finished mistakes that make small homes look cheap and exactly what to replace them with at what cost and at which phase of your build. That video could save you thousands. You do not want to miss it. Hit subscribe. Drop home in the comments. And I will see you next week. Build smart. Build beautiful.